Hi everybody, this is Yosarian from BoyMeetsPhone.com, and this is T-Mobile's newest BlackBerry. And no, that wasn't a joke. This is the BlackBerry Curve 9315 for T-Mobile. This is the newest member of their BlackBerry lineup. Taking a hardware tour, up front we have a 2.44-inch display at a resolution of 320 by 240. Below the display we have a talk key, the BlackBerry button, which will bring up your menu, and also if you press and hold it will bring up a multitasking menu. A optical trackpad that also allows you to click on your selected item, a back key, and your power and end key, so that will turn on and off your phone and end your calls. And below that we have the famous BlackBerry QWERTY keyboard, physical QWERTY keyboard, and it is very nice on this device, except for the fact that it is pretty small, since the Curve is a pretty small device. So if you have big hands, you're definitely going to want to stay away from this device, because you will find yourself quickly annoyed. On this side we have the micro USB port. We also have a key that is labeled for BBM, so if you press and hold, if you press this, it will automatically launch you into BBM. However, this key can be reassigned by going through the settings, which makes me wonder why I label it BBM. Up top we have a 3.5mm headphone jack, and we have the screen lock button. On the other side we have a volume rocker, which is nicely defined. And in the middle of the volume rocker, see that little knob right there, is a mute button. So when you're in the middle of a call and you need to mute it, you can quickly tap in the center to mute it. Below that we have another quick key, which by default is assigned for the camera. On the bottom of the phone we have the speaker and the microphone pinhole. Taking a look around back, we have a 3.2 megapixel camera with a LED flash. We have the plastic cover that slides off. The cover is pretty cheap plastic. I did have an issue where the plastic started to bend a little bit, the little edges, so it had an issue clicking but coming back onto the device, and it caused this little gap in this area. Kind of annoying, so it's a pretty cheap back. Right here we have the phone's 1450 milliamp hour battery. Right there is the micro SD card slot, which will allow you to expand it up to 32 gigs. And underneath the battery would be the full-size SIM card slot. This does not use a micro SIM, it is the standard full-size SIM card. Overall, I have to say the device is very small, which is nice, because it's nice as every once in a while have a pocketable device. The screen is not that bad at all, despite the fact that it is very, very low resolution. But overall, I actually did like the display on the BlackBerry. The BlackBerry Curve 9315 is running BlackBerry OS 7.1, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but also isn't necessarily the best thing in the world. It's a fairly simple OS to understand. If you scroll up to the top where it has your time, date, and data connection info, you click on it. It gives you a menu where you can manage your connections, set an alarm, and get into your full settings. If you tap where your notifications or icons are, it will bring you into a unified box full of all your notifications. Search bar brings you to search button brings you to a universal search. The speaker will bring you to your sound settings, and all of your apps are easily found using the icons on the bottom, just scrolling through use the trackpad or clicking on it to expand it fully. So it's a really nice, simple, easy to navigate OS, but with the launch of BlackBerry 10, it seems very outdated, and we're not talking like other OSs where sure you have an outdated version but it's still very capable. You're going to start seeing developers support this device less and less. Already I downloaded Pandora, and this is the message I received. Sorry, your device is not currently supported. When a major developer like Pandora is not supporting your device, you have to wonder when smaller developers are going to follow suit. So it leaves this phone in a very odd position. Some of the strongest draws to BlackBerry has always been, for one thing, its great QWERTY keyboard, its email client, which does not disappoint. This is a very nice email client. It was very easy to set up. I like how the emails are presented and rendered. They are rendered in their full size. You can grab the pictures by hitting the BlackBerry button to open up the contextual menu. Another one of the huge draws has always been BBM. BBM is here. However, one of the issues I ran into was that I could not find one person with a BlackBerry to use BBM with. So there's a chance that you might run into that issue too. But BBM is here, and all the other things that make BlackBerry BlackBerry, including enterprise support, is here. You can go to the BlackBerry app world to download more apps. I did have an issue with the app. One of the apps I did download, I downloaded a flashlight app, and I found that it was able to keep the screen from locking even when the app was closed. So that was a little weird and a little disconcerting that a app that's supposed to just be used as a flashlight can keep the phone from actually being able to lock. I actually found it that it would keep unlocking every time I hit the lock button by itself, and I would end up hitting things and calling people while it was in my pocket. And it wasn't until I deleted the flashlight app that this issue stopped. Web browsing on the Curve 9315 using the stock BlackBerry web browser isn't a completely horrible experience, but it also isn't on par with the mobile browsers available to you today on other devices. Due to the screen size and resolution, text does appear very, very tiny. In fact, it just looks like little black lines on display until you click on it using the magnifying glass. That does make the text easier to read. It also automatically and very quickly reflows, so good job from BlackBerry how quickly it actually reflows the text once you zoom in to fit the display. However, despite things like that, you also have the lack of support for Flash or much HTML5 support. But you do have tab browsing, which is another plus. So you can open different tabs. I did try to run a couple of HTML5 sites on it. One actually crashed the browser completely, and the other one just would not load. So you have a lack of HTML5 support on this device, which sets it behind almost every other browser available on a mobile device. Taking a look at the camera interface on the Curve 9315, see that we have a simple, straightforward camera interface. Right here we have the shutter button. If you press N on the optical trackpad, or if you have it set to launch the camera, you can also press the side button to take a picture. To zoom in, you scroll up on the trackpad. On the left side, we have the icon so that you know that geotagging the image is on or off. Geotagging does take a while for the GPS to actually lock onto your position, so if you're expecting to quickly jump into the camera and take a picture and have it tagged from the location, don't expect that to happen. On the right side we have the flash controls, so we can either have it set on automatic, so it will change depending on the light condition, have it never go off, or have it always go off for every picture you take. Next to that we have the scene settings, which have a fair amount of scene settings, including beach, party, close-up text, landscape, portrait, and face detection, which was kind of surprising, especially since this is a single focus camera. However, face detection actually worked really nicely. It did a good job finding the faces and keeping track of them. So I was fairly surprised at that. Right here we have a preview of the last image taken with the camera. I have to say overall the camera was just okay. I found that it did a decent job with color reproduction. However, when you have it on landscape, the colors were muted, and it cannot be used whatsoever for close-ups. Even with the close-up in text setting, images just came out very blurry and unusable. As far as video, you actually have to go into the menu, select video camera, switch to video, or launch it from the home screen. There's a few gripes with the video. You have to have a SD card in the phone in order for it to take video, which is understandable given it only has 512 megabytes, but still a little bit annoying. To turn on the light, you actually have to go into the settings and go into options and then select video light, which again is annoying to have to go through all these steps to do something as simple as turning on the light, the flash in the back, in order to use that as a torch. You are limited to DVD quality, so that is 640 by 480 resolution at its highest. You can see right here. The other option is very low quality video for a video message. As far as video recording goes, I do like the fact that you can start and pause and then start again on your recording. It does allow you to zoom in while recording, and it does do a good job dealing with light changes, and the audio quality is surprisingly clear and nice. However, other than that, it's just okay. It's nothing special. The Curve 9315 is powered by a single-core 800 MHz processor, has 512 megabytes of RAM, and 512 megabytes of eMMC storage, so that is a flash drive on the circuit board, though it's going to be a little bit less storage due to the preloaded apps. You also have a hot swappable micro SD card slot, which will allow you to expand up to 32 gigs. For those who don't know, hot swappable means that you can switch the card out of the device while it's on with no issues. As far as performance goes, this device is a very solid performer. It's very smooth. I didn't have any issues with lag or anything like that. Things open almost instantaneously. See, if I press the camera button, quickly jumps into the camera. The only issue with the camera I have found is the GPS takes forever to actually lock on to where you are, so that's a connectivity issue. As far as connectivity goes, this is running on T-Mobile's 3G network, so this is not running on their HSPA Plus network or their 4G network. So don't expect amazing data speeds here, though for web browsing, due to how BlackBerry has programmed their web browser, I did find that it was a fairly quick device. I didn't have any very long page load issues. As far as battery goes, this is powered by a 1450 milliamp hour battery, which I was able to get about 3 days of battery life with moderate usage. So that's really good when you're talking about a smartphone, especially since the normal benchmark nowadays is about being able to get a solid day out of the device. So 3 days is really nice. Other connectivity options, before I forget, you do have Bluetooth on board, you have Wi-Fi, you also have, this is also Cisco certified Wi-Fi, and you have access to the BlackBerry Enterprise servers. The Curve 9315 is a case of bad timing. It's not a bad phone. However, with BlackBerry 10 already announced, and the fact that we know it's coming to T-Mobile, it seems really silly to release a phone that's already going to be eclipsed by the newest hardware and software from BlackBerry. So I really couldn't recommend you getting this device. For more info on plenty of other phones, head over to the site boymeetsphone.com. Remember to like me on Facebook at facebook.com/boymeetsphone. This is Yosarian from boymeetsphone.com. Thanks for watching.